Good morning, everybody. Happy Saturday, and welcome back to Sessions with Kat. I'm sorry I didn't upload last week. I really did try, but there was so much noise going on around where I live that it was really messing up the quality of the video. So I didn't upload. I didn't want to load bullshit for y'all, if that makes sense. I'm not going to load if I know it's going to be bullshit, especially the sound quality. So I apologize for that. But I saved your ears because it was a lot. Oh, like a whole fucking lot. Anyway, how y'all doing? Y'all been hydrated? You know, y'all eating good, feeling good, getting your rest, right? I hope so. So let's get into it. So this is a brand new deck-ish. I have been testing this one on Instagram, if you've been paying attention. If just a side note, because this is not what we're going to talk about today, but as a side note, if you ever get a new Oracle deck or a new tarot or playing cards or what have you, and you know you're not going to be reading yourself with it, a good way to test it is to post messages for everyone else with it to see if it has a good vibe, if it has a good flow. That's one of the ways I test my Oracle cards mainly. Tarot I usually have no problem reading with. It's Oracle cards that if it doesn't like roll with my spirit, I know that it might roll with someone else's, so I use it to read other people. It's just kind of how that works. But that is one way to test your Oracle cards or your tarot cards or what have you, right? So, that being said, let's get into today's discussion, because I know y'all saw the title and was like, bitch, what? Yeah. Okay. Y'all, I hate living in a city. And I'm using the word hate lightly, okay? This is a 10. I love this 10, just to FYI. I don't plan to keep the cards in it or the book. I'm going to use it as like a little traveling case for like my charms or something. I don't know. I really fucking love this 10, just FYI. But I'm using the term hate very loosely because it's not usually a term I like to keep in my arsenal, okay? Because you shouldn't hate anything. You might dislike some things, but you shouldn't hate anything. Just like I don't like snakes and spiders. I don't hate them. I know that they have their part in the ecosystem and whatnot. I'm just not a fan of them, right? But you don't need to hate anything. You don't need to hold that kind of energy in your heart. And that's why I said I'm using the term hate very loosely. That's the book. So I hate living in the city. I hate it. I hate it, but not as passionately as it may sound. I just really don't fucking like living in the city. Here's why. I am one of those people, if you know me, you know I come alive when there's green grass, there's trees, there's not as much city noise going on. You know, if you know me, you know I need to smell the rain coming, right? I need to smell it in the air. I need to, like, if people have sprinkler systems, you can't smell that in the city, but you can smell that like in the suburbs or like in like more rural areas. However, listen, don't judge me, judge your mama. There's some certain words I can't say because I probably shouldn't be speaking English anyway. But like in the country parts, let's just call it that, out in the country parts, I need to see that. I need to see a few animals before I roll into work, right? I need, like yesterday, I was on my way to work and I took a back route, right? And I saw a fucking field of goats. Y'all, do you know how happy I was just to see animals in the midst of like a city area, if that makes sense. Because, like, you have to understand, I live in the capital of South Carolina. So it's busy, right? But I decided to take this little back road, and I was like, y'all, it's goats. Like, I was so happy. I'm in the car just smiling because I can smell the air. I could smell the rain coming, and the rain did come. I could, I just need that kind of thing. That is the way that I connect spiritually, right? You guys know I'm here for animals. I'm here for, just the life of the earth, if that makes sense. And I'm gonna zoom in so you guys can see the shit. I'm here for all of that. You don't get a lot of that in the city. You get a lot of fucking headaches. Just gonna put that out there. You get a lot of headaches. And I'm not here for it. I'm not. It disrupts my sleep. It disrupts my peace. And so I'm constantly trying to find ways to keep spirit alive while I live in the city, right? Like, if you know me, like when I lived in Michigan, I did not live in major cities. That was not fucking happening, right? And if I did, it's because that was like a last resort, right? But I never lived in Detroit, right? Like, I grew up in Toledo, Ohio, right? But, like, you put me out in the back country anytime because I just didn't like the city. I don't like the trains going by waking me up, because when you're deep in the city, you're going to hear the trains, right? Because it's treated differently versus, like, if you're going through, like, country areas, like, back areas. It's like, how the fuck do you find solace in the midst of that? And that's what we're going to talk about today. I know you guys were like, okay, bitch, get to it. I'm getting to it. How do you find peace living in the city, right? Living when there's so much fucking noise. I'm just not a fan. I'm not a fan of all the noise. So here are my, like, top 5 ways that I've been managing to find peace and a deep spiritual peace in the midst of living in the city, right? Number 1, and you guys will hear me talk about this all the time, cleanse your space, right? I cleanse my space every week like fucking clockwork. I either have pine, cedar, sage, lavender, something. I am cleansing my fucking space like clockwork every week, okay? Here's why. City energy can be very congested, right? And the moment you open your window, the moment you open your door, the moment you walk out into it, it's gonna flock to you, right? Because it's like, oh, another person to touch, right? It's gonna attach itself. Then guess what? If you don't clear that before you get in the house, which most of us don't, let's just fucking be honest here, okay? Most of us don't. You're dragging that energy into the house. All those encounters you had with bullshit ass people, bullshit ass energy, bullshit ass things, whatever, you're bringing that into your home because you didn't clear it off of you before you walked in. But how do you clear it off of you when the area is congested anyway, when the energy in the area of which you live is congested anyway? Sometimes you don't. You end up bringing that bullshit in the house, and then it weighs you down, and then everything irritates you, and then everything pisses you off. And I don't like to be that type of person, right? I'm not a fan of being pissed off. FYI, y'all, I'm sorry. I didn't even fucking tell y'all. The name of this deck is the Higher Self Oracle by Deanna Marie Riddick, which when I picked it up, I was like, Chronicles of Riddick. Like, I promise you, like, that's how my brain works. Don't judge me, judge your mama. That's the name of this deck. And then it's illustrated by Deborah Rodriguez-Capacetti. Girl, did you You married into an Italian family? Go ahead, girl. Anyway, sorry. You know, you hold that energy. So it's like, cleanse your space, right? Back to what we were talking about. Cleanse your space. Cleanse your fucking space. And sometimes you have to cleanse it more than just once a week. So sometimes I find myself smudging my home 2 to 3 times, depending on what happened when I stepped outside of the house, right? Or how much energy has been lingering inside the house. Now, your home will tell you if you got too much bullshit going on, okay? Your home will tell you, okay? The way my apartment does is the lights will flicker, okay? Lights flickering don't always mean that you got spirits in the house. Sometimes it's just too much motherfucking energy in there that shouldn't be there, okay? So understand, like, a lot of times it's not a spirit. It could just be the energy in the home, okay? But my lights will flicker. So when I wake up my house in the morning, if the lights are flickering just a little bit too much, I'm like, all right, house spirit, what is it? And house spirit like, bitch, clean. So I clean, right? I will, if I'm getting ready for work and whatnot, I will clean when I come back home, okay? That's just number one. Cleanse your space and do it like clockwork. Keep a schedule with it, especially if you live in an area where it's energetically congested, okay, and not in a good way, right? We like to breathe. We don't like to be walking around no stuffed up spirit. You get what I'm saying? So that's number one. Number two, create a safe space within your home. Now, I know y'all like, bitch, where we live in this tiny ass apartment? Yeah, I know. I've been there, right? I've lived in a 1-bedroom apartment. I would take my bookshelf, and one shelf on that bookshelf would be my like altar safe space, right? Or it would be in my bedroom, right? You need to create that sort of like home base for yourself. And what that does here, it's kind of like finding your North Star inside of your home. What that does is that when the world gets too heavy and you're unable, let me say it that way, what are words, right? You're unable to cope. Sometimes just going to your altar, sometimes just going to that safe space within your home it's gonna do a little bit of a wonder for your spirit, right? Just to kind of keep you going until you can get to where you need to be, right? So create a safe space, create your altar, right? Especially if you're one who does worship deities and whatnot, whatever God is being you worship, sometimes you need to create an altar space for them. Now, if you need to create a space that no one touches, you can create one that's like inside of like a container or something. Just don't light any fucking candles or incense inside that bitch. You don't want shit catching fire. But you could just put everything into a box and kind of store it away and pull it out as you need. I've done that before too, right? Especially like if you're in a relationship with someone who's like, I don't want all of that out, and you're like, maybe I don't want you. Like, I know this, but like some people just can't roll with the altar being out constantly. That is one way to do it, right? Some people set it up in in front of their closet or something like that, just so that they have that space that they need. So that's number 2. Number 3, drink your fucking water. Some of y'all probably like feeling called out. It's okay, because I feel called out too, right? When I don't drink enough water, that's when I retain the most of that energy outside of my home. And I find it more difficult to cleanse because I don't have proper flow going within my spirit. You need water to keep your third eye clear. Okay, like to keep it from being so foggy. You need to stay hydrated. Let me say it that way. You need to be hydrated. And in that, when you're properly hydrated, you can see a bit more clearly, right? And well, let me say this, number 3 and 4 go together. Hydration and making sure that you eat. Now, in my case, those two things have been an issue for the past year and some change, okay? I'm not going to go all the way back into it, but if you know me, you know why. Grief does that. I'll say it that way. Grief does that. So when I'm not properly hydrated, I'm not as spiritually protected as I sometimes feel that I am, sometimes think that I am. And it's a little bit harder to get moving. It's a little bit harder to be happy, right? To feel that happiness that I know is stored within me, because it's trying to protect itself from the bullshit as energy around me, right? So when you're hydrated, you can see a bit more clearly. When you are eating well, you can see a bit more clearly. I'm sorry. I was like, ooh, I didn't know Bass was in this deck. I promise you, I didn't go through these cards. I didn't. The cards y'all saw are just the cards that I pulled. This is the first time seeing this card. And I'm like, oh, look, it's Bass. Anyway, but like, you need those two things. Sometimes it's not about crystals. It's not about incense. It's not about lighting candles. It's the pure reality of the fact that you are like you're in a human experience, and that the human body requires sustenance and hydration and whatnot and proper nutrients. And you can't just be popping no damn multivitamin thinking that that's going to be your cure-all. It's not. You actually don't need it if you're eating properly, right? So, and listen, I know I'm vegan, and I'm not saying, oh, you should be vegan because you want it. No, that's not it. If you're eating properly, I didn't say shit about being vegan, because you can be vegan if you want to, right? I'm vegan by force, not by choice, right? But if you're eating properly, you don't need a multivitamin. You really don't, except for like a B complex, right? Because that's the B vitamins are the ones that are not really found in foods. So that should be the only one that you need to add to your diet, right? But if you're eating properly and you're staying hydrated, you don't have to substitute anything, right? And your body will be in alignment with you. Now, I get it. We got a lot of shit going on. Sometimes it's hard to find time to eat, hard to find time to drink something, but we need you alive. We need you well. We need you, healthy. That's a thing, especially if you have children. I need you to, go on and get that together. Ooh, I like this. Sorry. Those two things are key, right? To maintain a healthy body so that you can actually feel, grounded, centered, right? Because you're not going to feel grounded and centered if you ain't got no sustenance in your body. You're going to feel lightheaded and like you're ready to pass the fuck out. That's what you're going to do. So let's not do that. Please and thank you. Please and thank you. So that was 3 and 4, hydration and eating. Now, I separated them because some people don't have an issue with hydration, but they might have an issue with eating or vice versa, right? That's why I separated them. So it really is 3 and 4. So it's like, we got through 1 through 4. Now 5. And a lot of y'all gonna be like, do I have to do that? Yeah, yes. Okay. Number 5, you're about to do. Okay. Chant, do mantras, do mudras, do whatever you can to stay divinely connected to the source that is within you. Hear me the fuck out, okay? Before you lash out at me, because I know how some of y'all be like, Kat, I ain't doing that shit. I don't give a fuck. You gonna do it. Because the thing is, though, I've noticed with the handful of clients, like the new clients that I've obtained over the past 2-3 weeks, and even with close friends, families, and whatnot. A lot of times we're complaining like, why me? Why me? And a lot of times that's a call for you to come back to the divine within, right? Because when you get into that, why me? Why are you allowing me to suffer when I'm asking you for this? Why? And it's difficult to grasp when you're in the midst of trouble, right? When you're in the midst of a storm. But I'm talking to you now because this is something that I've had to work through over the past year, right? Why did I have to go through this? Why did I have to, why is my life turned the fuck upside down, inside out, and wrinkled? Okay? And I want you to understand this. When you have your spiritual practice, when you are divinely connected, nothing can shake your faith in the divine. Nothing. If your faith is there, your practice is solid. Let me put it that way. But when your faith is wavering, that means you've moved away from something and it's caused this hardship in the mind, right? So, right here, right? That means it's a time to go within. And with that is, a lot of times we are asking for things, but we're not willing to give the same amount of energy as the thing that we are trying to receive, okay? But when you have a solid spiritual practice, you know in your heart of hearts that if you give that amount of energy, you give in the name of that divine being or whoever you worship, whatever, that you're going to receive it back, right? We're going to receive that back, right? But you can't get there without having a solid practice. Does that mean that your practice has to be routine? No. That means that you have to have a practice. You have to have something that you flow to, right? So every Saturday, I do cord cutting and energy clearing, right? I probably should post that because I keep fucking forgetting to. But every Saturday, I do that. And that's part of my routine, right? The different days of the week, I do different things, okay? But you have to have a practice. You have to have something that you can flow to that's easy for you to maintain, and it keeps you connected with the divine. Now, can you do better? Of course, right? Like, nobody's saying you can't do more than that. I'm just saying that the times that we live in and the space that we live in, especially me living in the city, I have to do whatever little bits that I can to make sure that my practice is in good order, right? Because I'm not about to pass on no bullshit ass energy. I'm just not. I don't like feeling it, so I don't like giving it. I hope that makes sense, right? So as I'm navigating this new journey, right? Relatively new journey, and living within the city, I am learning that what happens when I step outside of that door really does affect the way that I practice, right? Because if I get all discombobulated when I leave and I come in the house, am I going to be ready to do my ritual? No, right? I'm a pause here. This card. So for some of y'all gonna be like, bitch, that look a little creepy behind you. It does. It does, okay? But you can't give faces to the spirits and whatnot that walk with you, because you don't know who's walking with you. So I think they just kind of like left that open to interpretation. So just FYI, because y'all like, how is she looking all calm and serene and all these hooded people behind her, right? Trust me, I'm looking at that, I'm like, huh? Oh, all right, I get it, but I wanted to explain it. So there's that. But back to this. Meditation is key. Chanting, mudras. Now, I do mudras daily, especially while I'm at work, because the emotional roller coaster that I deal with the people that I encounter. I do mudras to keep me calm. Now, if you know me, I do have a couple. I have 2 decks with mudras on them. And then I have my own personal set of mudras that I've put together for myself. That's the one I take with me to work. And I will use that, especially when I know I'm in moments of stress and because my sacral is being attacked because it's all emotional, right? But I take my practice with me. I don't just leave it at home. And when I say you must have like a solid spiritual practice, it has to flow through you 24/7, right? Now, are there going to be days that you're off? Yeah, you're going to have that. You're human, baby. Like, don't think that you got to be perfect, all the time. But you have to be able to walk in that faith, walk in that energy, and give in that energy, knowing that you will receive back in the same energy. Just because you encounter somebody who's a little bit on a bullshit, don't mean you have to hold that bullshit. That's not the energy that you're trying to receive. You can leave that right where it is because that you ain't meant to carry that. But as you move about your day, you'll notice that you're getting back what you're giving out. Because if you're giving with a pure, faithful heart through your spiritual practice, then you're going to receive that way. And I had to learn that very, very quickly once I moved here, right? Once I moved into this apartment, is that the energy I put out is the energy I receive back. And my spiritual practice will determine that, because if I'm not connecting daily, I don't feel connected at all. So that plays a part. So every morning, I do my little readings. I write out my gratitudes and light my candles and incense. I wake up my home. That's my practice, right? Like before I can do anything in the house, I gotta wake this house, this home up, right? This is my home right now, right? So I gotta wake it up, right? I gotta, make my bed and whatnot. I gotta go in each room, turn on the light and say good morning to the house spirit, because you're moving through their space too, right? This is me, right? So this is what I do every day before I can move on with my day. Now there are times as I'm waking up the house and whatnot, house spirit be like, bitch, you need some water. And I'll be like, yeah, I know, motherfucker, let me go and grab some of that. And then I grab some water, right? A lot of times, if you paying attention, your spiritual practice will set you up for success for the day, right? Because we're only looking at the moment. You don't have to look any further than that. It will set you up for success, right? If you're listening, right? If you're listening. And that's the key. That's the key, is to listen. Listen to your mind, your body, your spirit. All of them got to be in some sort of alignment. It ain't got to be perfect alignment, but they got to be fucking close, right? So those are the 5 things I do to make sure that I'm close enough, right? And I can make it enough until I can make it better, right? So, this video has, brought me to a new set of goals that I have for myself, right? After looking at the 5 main things that I've been doing over this year, and navigating this deep curve, right? I am setting a new set of goals for myself, and those goals was, I'm gonna, put them in place come, the spring equinox, because I have to do some clearing, right? I have to get some shit out of the way and enjoy my life, right? And then get my goals in order. So I hope this helps you. I hope that this gives you some place to start your journey if you feel like you've been off, right? I hope that this, helps you understand that you ain't the only one experiencing bullshit ass energy, because it's a lot of it going around, right? Not just in the city. I mean, it depends on where you live, right? But here in this city, there's a lot. It is a whole fucking lot. And I promise you, I'm not here for it. I'm not. And so I am resetting my goals for myself. And come the spring equinox, if you want to join in on it, I'm going to be doing like a goal setting vision board session, right? If you want to join in on it with me, like, you know, if you want to do it online, you know, we could do that. Just comment below, say I'm interested, or send me an email, send me a text if you got my number, send me a message on Instagram or Facebook if you over there on Facebook with me. You know, just let me know. Because, I don't know, I got goals now, right? Because I don't want to hate the city. I don't. I want to know that I can navigate through it in a healthy way, right? But I also want you guys to know that that congested energy that's just weighing on you, you don't have to hold it. So cleanse your fucking space. It's Saturday. That being said, stay hydrated. Make sure you eat well this weekend, right? I know the weather is ridiculous in some parts of the world, so just stay safe, right? And I wish you all the brightest of blessings. Bye.